The Power of Now, A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment by Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart Tolle knew about the pressures of life, having experienced depression and suicidal thoughts himself. That's why he thinks it is important to share what he learned about enlightenment. He wants you to be able to live an enlightened life. While the book is quite spiritual, The Power of Now has some practical concepts and exercises that can help you live in the now, control negative thoughts, and experience more joy and peace. First, Tolle needs you to understand that humans are more than their minds. The premise is that there are a number of valuable things that exist beyond the mind, things like creativity, inner peace, joy, a sense of beauty, and even love. The mind is very caught up in time, especially the past and the future. When the mind dwells on the past, regret and guilt take hold, and when it focuses on the future, anxiety and worry grow. So Tolle suggests that you need to step out of yourself, and like a third party, listen and observe. Observe what you are thinking without judgment or emotional attachment. This will uncover your conditioned mind, which is the mindset through which you view life. You want to uncover not only your personal perspective, but your cultural perspective as well. Observing your thoughts as if not attached to them allows you to rise above the mental chatter that often brings you under its control. When the thinker is fretting about the future, you become anxious. When the thinker is stewing over the past, you become unsettled and regretful. Notice that both of these tend to be negative in focus and give rise to negative emotions. Emotions, therefore, arise from the activities of the mind, as if they were at the crossroads where mind meets body. Emotions are our reactions to thought activity. Consider, for example, how you can work yourself into a ball of nerves over an upcoming presentation by running and rerunning a negative scenario of the upcoming event through your mind. These thoughts activate emotions that can make it nearly impossible for you to give the presentation when it comes time. Based on this interrelationship between thoughts and emotions, Tolle suggests that much of the pain we suffer is of our own creation. Consider the example above. The intense stress and negative anticipation were created by the mind itself, not by the outside circumstances. Tolle identifies two sources of pain: pain we create now and pain we have allowed from our past to interfere with both our minds and bodies. The past, for example, has no real power over the present except what we give it. Yet when we do not take notice of the present, we can get stuck reliving painful moments in the past. After we lose a loved one, for example, we can get caught up and experience only our loss and perceived regrets. But consider how healing it is when we take note of who is still with us, a child or a grandchild who visits perhaps. When we give credence to the present moment, we can experience something beyond our pain of loss. Tolle proposes that we need to move deeply into the now. We can't expect the problems of the mind to be solved by the mind stewing over them continually. He introduces the idea of the ego, the subconscious self that has a constant string of needs because of pain and fear. Unless we can step away from the ego's worldview, we won't ever truly be able to experience the present with joy. Life must become more than memories of the past and fearful anticipation of what could happen in the future. Tolle connects living in the present moment with spirituality, though he does not focus on one particular path to spirituality. His basic practical advice is that through spiritual awareness we can find a way to observe our thoughts, as stated earlier, as if we were a third party. The idea of being a third party is that we do not feel the intense connection with ourselves. We can break the hold of our ego over us and thus avoid the emotional reactions. The ego part of us wants to judge, blame, and overreact. As an example, let's say you have overslept on the day you have an important presentation at work. Your ego is ready to freak out over this, beating you up as a failure and prompting the imagination to create a full dire scene that could take place at work, ending with you being humiliated or even fired. But if you can disengage and be an outside observer, you can acknowledge that it was truly a bummer that you overslept, but the action at hand is to diligently move forward in order to limit the effects of one negative event. Do not waste time, energy, and emotional engagement on fretting over missing the alarm. It becomes an event of the past, and the now says to grab what you need and go without emotional reactions getting in the way and ruining your day. However, if you insist upon staying within your own mind, as the ego prompts, you cannot step out or disengage. You stay fixated on the past event or enthralled with anticipating the negative future, and there is no awareness of the present problem. The emotional torrent is unleashed and you have no good way to deal with the present. One way to overcome this state is to rename the current problem as a life situation that can be dealt with now in the present. Living in the now can benefit your relationships as well. If the ego has charge of your relationships, they are wrought with judgment and could-haves, should-haves, and would-haves. When you step away from attaching judgments, you avoid the flood of emotions such judgments unleash. Tolle suggests that this is the way to make room for love, joy, and peace to be experienced. He says the greatest catalyst for these to grow is acceptance of yourself and your partner, no goal of changing them. This isn't to say that change won't happen. True deep change isn't spurred by the judgment of others anyway. It is more likely to take place in a climate of acceptance and love. It can become the norm to allow our minds to focus on either the past or the future, but Tolle found that recognizing the present and keeping negative thoughts in check can give you a new lease on life and a chance to experience deeper relationships and more peace and joy. He isn't saying that you need to give up goals for the future, nor destroy past memories, but these should not compose your complete identity. The old adage, enjoy the journey, is an appropriate way to look at goals. While we use the term goal, we must never ignore each step toward the goal, for each present step we take is something of a goal too, a goal for the moment. Reaching goals and building relationships will become easier if you can control the negativity often instigated by an uncontrolled ego with its negative thoughts. For Tolle, the inability to live in the present and control his thinking nearly ruined him. Learning to recognize harmful thought patterns and escape to the present opened up life for him, and he'd like you to experience that freedom too. Thank you so much for watching yet another video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Your support will help us continue pushing out great content. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you again.